He's been called God by fans and peers alike. Eric Clapton's guitar has defined the sound of British blues for over half a century. But behind his smooth tone and calm stage presence lies a man who's had his share of musical feuds, bitter creative differences, and unforgettable regrets. Now, at 82, Clapton has quietly admitted there were 6 bands he vowed he'd never play with again, not because of skill, but because of what happened behind the scenes. Let's uncover the stories behind those burned bridges. Number 1. Plastic Ono Band. The most surprising story came from his brief time with John Lennon's Plastic Ono Band. Clapton loved Lennon but couldn't handle Yoko Ono's experimental style and chaotic studio sessions. He described the experience as beautiful madness. But he also admitted that after that project, he promised himself, never again. It wasn't personal, it was about creative peace. Clapton craved structure. Lennon thrived in chaos. That difference ended their collaboration forever. Number 2. The Rolling Stones. Over the decades, Clapton has played alongside nearly every major artist, but surprisingly, he refused several offers from the Rolling Stones. He admired Keith Richards, but didn't like the chaos that followed them everywhere. He once said, "It's not the music, it's the circus around it." After one jam session in the 70 Seconds, he decided he'd never officially join them. He respected their legacy, but he didn't want to live inside their storm. Number 3. Derek and the Dominos. To most fans, Derek and the Dominos gave us Layla, one of the greatest love songs ever written. But for Clapton, the band became a nightmare. Substance abuse, jealousy, and emotional turmoil nearly destroyed him. He later revealed, "We were too high, too broken, and too far gone to make music." When the band fell apart, so did Clapton's faith and friendship within music. He never spoke to some of his bandmates again. Number 4. Blind Faith. In 1969, Clapton tried again, forming Blind Faith with Steve Winwood, Ginger Baker, and Rick Gregg. It was supposed to be the next big thing, but fame came too fast. Fans called it the supergroup that burned too bright. Clapton hated the attention, the pressure, and the endless arguments over direction. He once said, "I wanted music, they wanted glory." After just one album, he walked away and vowed never to repeat that mistake. Number 5. The Yardbirds before Cream. There was the Yardbirds, the same band that launched both Clapton and Jimmy Page. But Clapton hated how commercial the band became. They wanted pop hits. He wanted blues purity. When they recorded For Your Love, Clapton quit on the spot. He later called it the day the soul left the music. He swore he'd never compromise his art again, a promise he's kept ever since. Number 6. Cream. It might sound shocking, but Clapton's first legendary band was also one of his most painful memories. Formed in 1966, Cream was a supergroup. Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, and Ginger Baker, 3 musical geniuses, 3 powerful egos. The chemistry on stage was electric, but off stage, it was chaos. Clapton once said, "Every rehearsal turned into an argument, every show into a competition." By 1968, the tension was unbearable. He swore he'd never work with that level of ego again. Decades later, even the reunion tours couldn't heal those scars. Through all those experiences, Eric Clapton learned that music, even at the highest level, can break hearts and friendships. In a recent interview, when asked if he regrets walking away from so many great bands, he smiled and said, "If I'd stayed, I wouldn't have survived." Music is freedom, and sometimes freedom means walking alone. You've been watching Hollywood Golden Stars, where we reveal the untold stories behind music's greatest legends. If you love this story, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell, because next time, Paul McCartney finally reveals the 6 musicians he couldn't stand working with.